All right, gang, going into new computer art tutorial here, and what we're going to create today is some animation with Pixlr. And so we're going to create an animation like this here. The earth without art is just eh. And you can see how I have some simple fading and movement effects going on with the text, and that can all be done using Pixlr. So let's get into creating one of these together. So if I start out with a size, let's see, maybe I want a square size for this animation project. So I could go over to social and see the Instagram square or Instagram post. I think both, no, Instagram post square is the one I want to create a square space. You could also just type the dimensions you want, 1080 by 1080 over here, and we'll call this message. Could be a message, it could be a quote. Whatever you would like to animate as far as your text goes is up to you. First thing I'll do is I will find a photo of Earth for my backdrop. That will be the first thing we need. However you decide to choose that. Want to find a photo that is fitting for whatever quote that you decide to animate. Paste in my image on that first layer there, and now I'll want to add in my text. So I'll take my text tool, add in a type layer. In this first one, I will put the earth, and I'll just move that up top. I will click with my type tool again to add another text layer, and that would say without art. And then click again to put in a third text layer, and that would be is just, yeah, period. All right, I'm going to move that one down just a little bit. Try and see if I can find spots where they are spaced out nicely, but also legible based on the image in the background. But I am going to have a little fun with the fonts, and so I'll click on that to type, and I'll go down and look for some different fonts that may be fitting to the words that they go with. So let's see if I can find some good fonts. The earth, that looks like a bit of an earthy, grainy type of font. Kind of bold. That has some texture to it, which is kind of cool. Without art, I feel like I want this to be kind of handwritten. Yeah. That seems good. And then this text, I think, should be kind of thin, straightforward, maybe that one. Any of these that have crowns are going to be premiums. But I want something kind of thin, a little bit different, but straight. Let's see. This isn't bad, a little different than the other fonts that I've got. All right, so now we want to make sure that these fonts, maybe we want to give them some colors and change that up a little bit to make things a little more interesting here. You can give colors gradient fills or text gradient fills, if that's something you want to try out. I'll just go with regular colors here. The other thing you could do is if you want to choose colors from your image, you can click on this eyedropper tool here and pick a color from your image for your text. That could be a good way to do this. Maybe I'll switch that up, and then I'll go ahead and try and pick another color for this part. Maybe I'll take like this tannish color from the middle here for that word. And then maybe for the just part, I can find a different color. Maybe it would be this blue. This does another blue, but it's probably going to be hard to see. So that's the other thing I want to think about, is how else I can bring that font back out. That is just too dark though. I'm going to have to change it up again. Let's see. Let's go back to like this lightish blue color. That works pretty good, but it's still a little bit tough to see. So let's see, what else can I do? Let's go to styles here. Let's go to styles, and maybe I could add an outline. And I can outline this in maybe that tan color. So it's a lighter colored outline. Or maybe I'll just go with white. I don't know if I like that tan color for the outline. So we'll go with a white outline. I can make the size smaller or bigger. That seems pretty good. The other thing I could try out is adding shadow. Now, shadow behind it will help it stand out because it'll make the background image just a little bit darker. If I increase the opacity, it makes the shadow even darker behind it. And maybe you want to play with styles on some of these other words as well. If I try and add a shadow behind this text, it helps that stand out just a little bit more. Okay, great. So now we have our quote all set up and we're ready to animate. So we are going to go to Animation tab at the top, hit Animation Panel. Here we'll see first page animations. So these are animation effects you can add to your entire page. And those are cool. Some of them very simple and effective. But the other thing we can do is we can go to each layer and we can add effects individual to each one of these text layers as well. So maybe I'll go here and I can start with the entrance of the earth is growing. And then I could also do a different animated effect on the scene. So after it already enters, what would it do after that? All right, so I'm happy with just the earth just entering in. Without art, this part I will see I have a new enter. And so maybe I'll make this one sink down. And maybe in the scene, it will do a rotation. And then on the exit, maybe we'll do a fade away. All right, so that way I can see that all progress here by hitting the play button. I can hit the play button down here in the corner, and that will play all of my effects so far. So right now I have the earth fading in and without art doing a spin. And now I just have to decide how do I want to animate this is just So this I'll want to do an entrance as well. Maybe it'll be rising because it's coming off the bottom. So rising seems like that would fit. For the scene, I could have it do a flip maybe. And on the exit, maybe it could shrink. So it would rise, flip, and shrink. Now, I want to make sure these are legible though. So see, that was a little fast and hard to read. So the earth without art is just, and the kind of disappears a little quickly. So something else we can look at doing, if I select this that is just, I can slow down or speed up the speed of each of these effects. So maybe I'll take the speed down to slow so that this one, this line is just there for a little bit longer period of time. And that works pretty good because now when I hit play, I can read the earth without art. It's just as it fades away. And so that looks like my animation is all set and good to save. So I'm going to go File, Save. It recommends MP4 video with a frame rate of 24, size of 1:1. You could make this smaller pixels if you wanted to. If you're going to send it, it will send more easily. If you're going to share this, if you make the file size smaller, you could also save as a GIF if you want to save as a GIF and have it loop as a looping animation. But we'll save as MP4 and we'll go save as, message, that'll do. And then we'll pop that into our drives and save them and turn them in on Classroom. And that's all there is for this lesson. So I hope you guys have fun getting creative and creating your own animated messages.